The end.
Metallic mercury appears in three forms: solid, liquid, and vapor. Mercury is the only common metal liquid at room temperature. It easily forms alloys with many metals, such as gold, silver, and tin. The combination of mercury with these alloys is called an amalgam. Dental amalgams are materials used in restorative dentistry, aiding in the filling of cavities. They have been used in the UK for over 175 years, where they are composed of 50% mercury and 50% of a metal alloy, made up of silver, tin, and copper. The reason to why mercury is used is because it serves as a good binding agent when reacting with the silver, tin, and copper alloy. It is able to withstand large compressive forces when chewing. This is important because amalgams are used on the posterior teeth, which are the teeth at the back of your set of teeth, like molars. This is important because it endures the most mechanical pressures. Therefore, a strong and durable material is needed to combat this without breaking. When a dentist is filling a cavity, they will first drill into the tooth and remove any decay. They will then shape the tooth cavity in a way where the amalgam filling can be placed easily. They will then proceed by mixing the mercury in the liquid state with powdered alloy to form amalgam putty under safe conditions. This is called an amalgamation reaction. Finally, the amalgam material is packed into the tooth, filling the cavity in layers, ensuring that there are no air bubbles and that it is densely packed. The amalgam putty will almost immediately harden into a solid state. The dentist will then remove any excess filling on the tooth and shape the filling to mimic the natural anatomy of a tooth. However, there have been some concerns surrounding the use of mercury, as it is a toxic material which could serve danger towards the patient. Therefore, the EU passed a regulation to prohibit the use of amalgams on the 17th of May 2017 on patients who are under 15 years of age, pregnant, or breastfeeding. Dentists typically only use this material as a last resort with patients who have severe cases of cavities. In January 2024, the European Parliament voted to ban dental amalgams. As a result, a total phase-out of the filling material took place in the EU from the 1st of January 2025. As of today, they remain the best form of filling material due to their antibacterial properties because of the secretion of toxic mercury gas, and also in terms of repairment, cost, ease of placement, and longevity. Hence, it is difficult to find an alternative.
So let's talk about the benefits of dental amalgams. So firstly, dental amalgams are known as one of the most common non-tooth colored materials, which means that the amalgam alloy is not the same color of your tooth compared to other restorations, like composite fillings, for example. Secondly, they are quite long lasting and are high in durability, which means that you'll need fewer replacements across your lifetime, and the amalgam itself can withstand heavy biting forces, and which therefore makes them lower maintenance overall. They are also quite easy to use, especially for dentists, as as they are quick to harden. This reduces the time taken for the procedure, and therefore the patient won't have to have their mouth open for a long time and be uncomfortable for a long time like they would have for other restorations. They are also quite distinguishable, which means that they're more easy to identify due to them having a non-tooth color. For example, in the first image, it shows two different teeth, one with a composite filling and one with a dental amalgam. The first one has the first one's color is more tooth colored. It's more peach and yellow, which would be harder for dentists to identify compared to the second one, which is silver and has a different color to your tooth. This makes it easier for dentists to monitor any wear or defects on your teeth and surrounding teeth that are around the amalgam. Additionally, they have an excellent wear resistance, which links back to the idea of them being long lasting. Because they don't wear or break down as easily, you get to keep them for longer without any risks of them decomposing or you having to constantly go back and get replacements. Lastly, dental amalgams can be quite affordable. They provide a great price for value, and by value, we're talking about how they're long lasting, number one, and how they are lower maintenance because you don't have to constantly be thinking about what you're eating or what you're drinking, whether you're biting on food too hard, etc. This therefore also makes them more accessible, meaning that more people can afford to have them and without having to constantly get them replaced. Thank you.
The disadvantages of amalgams is that the amalgam fillings are silver in color, so it doesn't match the color of your teeth, and so it makes it really obvious that you've gotten a filling. It also releases low levels of mercury vapor, which can be absorbed by the lungs and have an impact in the brain and the kidneys. This happens through bioaccumulation, which is the gradual buildup of chemicals in organs or tissues, and part of the mercury can accumulate in body fluids. The amalgam fillings are not permitted for children under the age of 6, as they have developing neurological systems, which can be more sensitive to neurotoxic effects of mercury vapor. However, it's not just them, as pregnant women planning to be pregnant, women who are nursing, and people with neurological diseases, impaired kidney functions, and allergies are also not permitted. The FDA does not recommend the removal of amalgam fillings as it damages healthy tissue structures and can increase exposure to mercury vapor during the removal process. There was an issue with mercury pollution in the environment, and so the government says teenagers under 15 are not permitted to get amalgams to reduce mercury exposure to the environment. When you get an amalgam fillings, there needs to be changes in the diet as bacteria can get under the filling and cause decay, and so reduction of dietary sugars are needed, and it also requires to be brushed twice a day with fluoride toothpaste. Some individuals experience sensitivity. However, most of it is caused by mercury allergies, which is only 1% of the world, and can be fixed by just the removal of the amalgam fillings. When the amalgams get oxidized, they tarnish and turn darker in color, which doesn't look nice. And when it corrodes, it has a rough surface, which can trap plaque. It can also cause cracks in the teeth, as when amalgam fillings are done, it removes extra healthy tissue, which makes the teeth weak, and the dramatic changes in temperature can make the amalgams expand and contract.
Although no materials used in fillings possess the same properties as an amalgam, the Minamata Convention on Mercury, which is a treaty which phased down the use of amalgam significantly, caused scientists to look for a replacement. There are three main alternatives: composite resin, porcelain inlays, and glass ionomer composite, also known as GIC. Composite resin is a white paste that is put on the teeth, which doesn't need light curing. This means it doesn't need blue light to harden. Although this material can be matched to the shade of the tooth, making the filling look more aesthetically pleasing, one of its major problems is shrinkage. This can lead to further problems such as gaps, tooth sensitivity, and recurrent decay. However, this can be minimized by using small increments. They are also not as strong as other fillings. This material is also used for aesthetic purposes such as composite bonding, closing gaps between teeth, reshaping teeth, and veneers. The next alternative material is porcelain inlays. Getting a porcelain inlay fitted in requires removing the decayed tooth structure, preparing the tooth cavity, and taking an impression to make sure that the filling is customized to the tooth. This is a more complex and time-consuming procedure. However, they are highly durable and have a high longevity. The last material is glass ionomer cement, a tooth-colored material that releases fluoride to help prevent further decay and bonds directly to the tooth. GIC is less durable than other materials, but its fluoride-releasing properties makes it beneficial for fighting decay in the surrounding tooth. GIC is typically used for temporary fillings, pediatric dentistry, high-risk patients, and small cavities. Some disadvantages of GIC is that it's less durable and may wear down more quickly than composite or amalgam fillings, and they can pick up surface stains over time. They also may need to be refreshed periodically. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I hope you have all learned something new and this has helped deepen your understanding of amalgams as a filling.